All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're cracking open Olululu Ogunyemi's Lead Last, a book that really turns what you think you know about leadership completely on its head. We're going to explore this idea that the best leaders, well, they aren't always the ones grabbing the spotlight. They're playing a totally different and much more powerful game.
So this is the big idea right at the heart of the book. It's a clever spin on that old saying, he who laughs last, laughs best. What it's getting at is that real leadership isn't about being first in line or having the loudest voice. Nope, it's about stepping back, observing, and putting your team first. It basically shatters that whole born leader myth and says, no way, the best leaders are made, not born.
And that's exactly how we're going to tackle this. Think of this as your personal field manual. Ogunyemi wrote this as the guide he wishes he'd had back in the day, and it is packed with real, practical advice. So let's treat this as our own direct guide to navigating the messy, paradoxical world of leadership.
Okay, so the book is broken into 3 parts, and we're starting with the most important one, you. Because let's be honest, before you can even think about leading other people, you have to be able to lead yourself. This is all about getting a handle on your own insecurities and building a rock-solid foundation to stand on.
This brings us to a really powerful concept, strategic vulnerability. Now, this isn't about oversharing or turning your team into your personal therapists. Not at all. It's about intentionally showing your human side. Sharing a story, admitting you don't have all the answers. It's how you build real, genuine trust.
And here's a perfect real-world example. When Howard Schultz came back to Starbucks in 2008, the company was in crisis. He didn't just show up with charts and graphs. He told them the deeply personal story of his father's struggles and how that fueled his passion for the company. By letting his guard down, he gave everyone a powerful why, and that loyalty was absolutely key to their incredible turnaround.
Okay, so you're being vulnerable, but here's where those paradoxes come in. The book immediately hits us with Principle 6. Your team also needs you to be a rock. They need you to be the calm in the storm, especially when things go sideways. A leader who's all over the place emotionally can destroy trust just as fast as one who's cold and distant.
And there it is, the first big leadership puzzle the book throws at us. It feels like a complete contradiction, doesn't it? How on earth do you open up and be human while also being the unshakable foundation your team needs? Let's break that down.
The key is to understand that they do different jobs. Think of it like this. Vulnerability builds connection. It shows you're a real person, but stability, that builds trust. It shows you're reliable. So you can be vulnerable by admitting a mistake, but you show stability by managing your emotional reaction to that mistake. You absolutely need both.
So now that we've got our own foundation sorted, it's time to build on it. In part 2, the focus shifts outward. It's all about the connection, answering the question, who are you leading? And digging into how you actually develop the people around you. And right away, we hit our next paradox. Principle 12 is all about building each other up, right? Creating a positive, supportive vibe. But then you have Principle 14, which says direct feedback is essential. That means you have to have those tough, sometimes uncomfortable conversations. So, how do you criticize without crushing someone's spirit? To solve this, the book gives us a super practical 4-step framework. And this is not that old, clunky praise sandwich. This is about making feedback feel like coaching, not a critique. You start by affirming their value, state a specific, factual observation, explain the real-world impact, and then, this is the most important part, you work together to figure out the path forward. It totally changes the dynamic. Okay, you've worked on yourself, you're building connections with your team. The final part of this journey is about taking all that and scaling it up. How do you lead in a way that actively shapes the environment and culture for your entire organization? The classic dilemma for every single leader. Principle 15 says, meet problems head on, be decisive, jump in. But Principle 19 warns you, don't be Lord of the Flies tasks. In other words, don't micromanage and stifle your team. If you get this balance wrong, you either let chaos take over or you completely destroy your team's autonomy. Luckily, the book gives us this fantastic decision tree. It's a tool you can literally put in your back pocket. Let's walk through it. First, you ask, is this problem mission critical or super time sensitive? If the answer is yes, you step in. If it's no, you ask, does my team member have the skills to handle this? If they do, your job is to coach them through it. And if they don't, you ask one final question. Is this a good growth opportunity? If it is, you still coach. It's so simple, but so powerful. And that phrase the book uses, Lord of the Flies tasks. It's such a memorable way to describe what happens when a micromanager takes over.
When a leader is constantly hovering, it screams, "I don't trust you." And that leads to dysfunction, infighting, and a team that's scared to take any initiative at all.
And look who's back. It's Howard Schultz again, but this time he's here as a cautionary tale. Early on at Starbucks, his own micromanagement led to some big failures. This quote is him in his own words reflecting on that. It's a powerful reminder that even the best leaders can fall into this trap, and trusting your team is just not optional.
So finally, the book looks beyond its core principles to tackle a challenge that is uniquely modern. The fundamentals of leadership might be timeless, but the world we lead in is constantly changing, especially with technology taking over the workplace. Principle 21 makes this brilliant point. As a leader today, you're responsible for both humans with all their creativity and emotion, and robots, the AI, the automation, all the systems that make our work possible. And that is a very delicate balancing act. You can really see the contrast here. We need tech for its efficiency, its precision, its ability to scale. But our human teams, they thrive on empathy, connection, and collaboration. A great leader today doesn't pick one over the other. They figure out how to use technology to supercharge human ingenuity, not replace it. So here's the bottom line. Automate the tasks, not the relationships. Be totally transparent about how new tech is going to change things. And then double down, triple down on the skills that robots can't touch. Creativity, critical thinking, and real human empathy. That's the secret to leading in this new world. So we've gone on this journey from the self to the team to the wider culture. Now let's wrap it all up by looking at how all these pieces fit together into one powerful model for making a real, lasting impact. This pyramid just perfectly captures the entire philosophy of the book. It all starts with that foundation of self-awareness. If you don't know yourself, you can't lead anyone. From there, you build strong team relationships. And only once you have that trust can you begin to influence the culture and ultimately leave that lasting impact you're aiming for. So we'll leave you with this question, because the goal of Lead Last isn't just to learn some cool ideas, it's to actually use them. So take another look at this pyramid. Is your foundation of self-awareness as strong as it could be? Are you nurturing your team relationships? Or is it time to focus on the wider culture? Answering that question for yourself is the very first step to becoming the kind of leader who leads best by leading last.